everyone?
All right.
All set? All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the zoning board meeting of September the 4th, 2025. I'm Carol Zacharias, and with me today in person are Tom Kempner, Linda Munn, Orrin Glick. That's a quorum of 4 out of 5, and we need a quorum of 3, so we're all set to go. We're also joined today by Alex Wallach, our planning director, Lisa Rickmers by Zoom, if you will, our senior environmental planner, and of course our trusted counsel, Brian Stoller. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started unless there's anything anybody wants to raise.
Is Joyce joining us?
Joyce is not going to be able to join us
Sorry.
after all. Okay, so the first case on the agenda is one of the wetland special permit environmental variance cases. It's a carryover case of Maximilian Casante. I had a question on this one, Alex. It says adjourn to October 2. Did we already have a motion and vote to adjourn it all the way over to October 2?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then we don't need to address it. Thank you.
Yeah, the second one is a new adjournment request. They
Yeah.
are asking for an adjournment also to October 2nd.
Right, so this is the Meadow Club case, 555 First Neck, case number 3204. They've requested the adjournment also to October 2nd, as Alex points out. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the case?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye.
Sure.
And so moved. All right, thank you. All right, and from there we go to the second of the new cases, and that is the case number 3211, which is 1030 Meadow Lane, David and Danielle Ganick. Would you all like to come forward and we'll chat about it? Thank you.
And Brian, you should have the affidavits of mailing and posting for this.
I'm sorry, what, Alex? We didn't hear you.
Oh, we have the affidavits of mailing and posting, so we're okay to proceed.
Thank you.
Good evening. I apologize, I have a little laryngitis. If you have trouble hearing me, just let me know. All right?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Feel better.
Pardon?
Feel better.
Thank you.
I know that.
Thank you for your patience. This is an application for a small 121 square foot additional increase in floor area in a building, that is coverage in a building, in an 11,625,000 square foot house, which is non-conforming because it is located, like many other homes on Meadow Lane, seaward of the coastal erosion line. Coastal erosion line goes right through the middle of the house. And it's within 100 feet of the dune crest, also typical of the houses along Meadow Lane. The increase is at, and what do we have? I have the survey.
I think he needs you to speak into the microphone.
Can I have, is it? Sorry.
Carol, can you put yours up? Thank you.
Is mine okay?
Yeah, yours is fine.
Thank you.
Do you have a survey to show the board, or do you have someone on
I
Zoom?
thought it was going to be on the
Do
screen.
you have someone on the Zoom who's doing this with you?
No, you guys are going to put it on the screen. I do have a survey. Pardon?
You put it on the table.
Okay, could I borrow one of yours? I only have a small one. We all have-
I could have one for you.
You have a full scale one? Sorry. Thank you. You can see the existing house is here in the larger part of the survey, it's on the right side. And you see where it says existing second floor deck and stairs to be enclosed. That's where the addition is going to be. But it's easier to see on the blow up on the lower left of the survey. you can see there are two things, the two existing decks, they're going to be enclosed. They're the ones at the lower left corner and the one right on the other side of the existing part of the bedroom. Those are existing decks, and they're just going to be enclosed. The addition is, has a line between it, is just north of that enclosed deck, and there's also going to be an extension here, but that's over an existing lower deck, so it's not an expansion or additional lot coverage. Now, it's easier to see. I delivered 11 by 17 copies of 7 pages. The first page is this. Okay. If you look at this, the first page, it's actually easier if you look at the second page. I'm sorry, the third page. I'm sorry, the fourth page.
With the green and the blue.
Yeah,
With the green and the blue box?
well, that's the fifth page, I think.
Oh, sorry.
But that would do. This is this page that has the,
Oh, sure.
okay? And you can see again, now, one of the things that's confusing, because I always get confused with architect's drawings, they show the ocean is to the left in this picture. All right, so, and Meadow Lane is to the right. The two pink ones are the existing decks that are, it's very confusing because the survey has the ocean in a different orientation, but that's the ocean to the left. The two pink areas are enclosing existing decks. The green and the blue are the additional coverage, and the pink to the right is over an existing porch down below. Now, so that's the basic. You can see it better on the first page. On the left hand is a picture of the house as it now exists, and those red dashes show where the enclosures are going to be. And you can see that they are over existing decks, except for the extension that's right in the middle. So it's a little hard to, I found it a little hard to understand, but that's that's where the additions are going to be. The only part that's an additional extension is, if you look at this part here, it's right here. This yellow part right here. That's the only, and it's 121 square feet. Yes, ma'am?
So, am I to understand that the spiral staircase will be removed?
Yes,
And the addition will come out over part of it?
yes. And it's that, the only part of the addition that is additional coverage is that 121 square feet. Otherwise, there is the existing deck, which you see right next to the spiral staircase. That will be enclosed as part of the addition, but that's not additional coverage. That's just enclosing the existing deck.
So you're gonna bring this part of the building, this facade, you're gonna bring it out a couple of feet?
Yes,
The whole, from top to bottom? for both
just at the
floors?
top, just at the top. Down below is just storage and it's breakaway enclosure. That's just to make it uniform. It's breakaway storage. It's not additional coverage. Any other questions about the setup?
I think that's it.
Okay, so there's no change in the dune setback. There's no change in the coastal erosion. The requested extension is within the allowable coverage. It's actually, the allowable is 21,958, and the proposed lot coverage is 21,528. It's about 400 square foot less than allowed. And it's actually less than the existing coverage because they're removing some other materials or other areas. So there's no variance required there. It's also within the 50% limitation of expansion of a non-conforming building. It's non-conforming again because it's on the wrong side of the coastal erosion line. That's 11628C allows a 50% coverage. And in fact, in this case, a 24% expansion was approved, 25%, sorry, expansion was approved in 2009, but 252 square feet of that, which is going to be a pergola, was never built. So there's actually approved 252 square feet of expansion already approved and within the limitations, and the current expansion is only 121 square feet, less than what was already approved. So there's no variance required for that. A variance is required because the proposed 121 square feet extension is southward of the coastal erosion line, and you can't build there without your approval. This is typical of houses along Meadow Lane, most of which were built, as we said, south of the coastal erosion line. All reasonable measures have been taken to mitigate any adverse impacts, and the expansion is behind the house. It's not on the dune side of the house, it's on the back side of the house. If you look again at, at the survey, if you look at the blow-up, the ocean here is towards the bottom of the survey, right? And you see the expansion is on the other side of the existing house, right? So you sort of can't get a design that is less intrusive on the dune than that. There's no disturbance of the dune. Because of the location and the elevation, it's reasonably safe from flood and damage. I'm quoting the standards for coastal erosion variance. It will not create any risk to the dune or any other natural feature. It's right in the area that's already substantially disturbed. And there's no other alternative location. And for that, if you can look at the pages of the handout that you have, that show the page, Madam Chair, that you were looking at first with the green and blue shows a blow up of the, that's this page, all right. So that shows the existing bedroom and what they're going to do to expand it, enclosing the existing decks and adding the green and the blue areas. So there's no other place to put that to do what they are intending to do, which is to make the existing bedroom into a larger suite for themselves. The variance is also required because it's within 100 feet of the dune crest. It's really the same analysis. That's what most of the houses have along Meadow Lane in that area. It's behind the house, so it's not having any effect behind. That is north of the house, and the dune crest, of course, is to the south, so it's way behind. And it doesn't change the setback to the dune crest from what's there now. It's 68 feet, so it's been 68 feet. That stays the same. And it won't create any impact on the dune because, again, it's shielded by the house. There are no other impacts and there are no other variances required. There was a question of the combined setback on side yard setbacks. It's 70 feet, it's supposed to be 80 feet, but that's pre-existing, and you'll see in the turn-down letter from the building department that that's checked off as pre-existing and non-conforming. So it's only the two issues, the coastal erosion. I'm sorry it took so long to explain the conditions and the position, but it's only the two issues, the coastal erosion line and the setback from the dune. And I think it's pretty straightforward that if you look at the standards for a coastal erosion variance, it fits into those. And if you look at the standards for any variance, and making the balance between benefit and detriment, there is no detriment. You can't see any of this. It's 300 feet from a meadow lane. Doesn't change the view of the house from any side or from the ocean. And there are no environmental impacts. They're not adding a bedroom, they're not changing the septic system, they're not doing anything that would have an environmental impact.
Is the 120 square feet of additional
Coverage.
is that structure going to be visible to others from the beach or from
No.
either side of the neighbors? It's not, correct?
It's again, it's behind the house, so you can't see
Right.
it. It's on the north side of the house, although it's still south of the coastal erosion line, but it's on the north side of the house, so you can't see it from the beach. It's 300 feet from Meadow Lane, so it's very hard to see.
Right. Okay.
And there's really no difference in what the neighbors see. They're just enclosing the existing
Okay.
decks. So
Thank you. All right. Thanks for that.
any other questions?
Any other questions, anybody? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from anyone here present in the audience on this application? Should we have comments from Lisa on the environmental impact? Great. Lisa?
Yeah, so thank you. I wanted to highlight one thing, which is that the issuance of a CHA permit is a type 1 action in the village code. So we are going to need to get a full environmental assessment form. That said, there's no one else to coordinate with in this case. So traditionally, type 1 actions, you have to do a coordinator review. It's a minimum of a 30-day coordination period. But in this case, the only decision that's a discretionary decision that's being made is by the zoning board. So we would not need to go through that coordinator review process. However, we should still require the full environmental assessment form consistent with the village code's classification of this as a type 1 action. I'll start. There were two issues. One was the variance from the crest of dune, and it was already mentioned by the applicant, but I wanted to highlight that there is still a variance required because it's less than 100 feet from the crest of dune, but the distance is an existing condition. So there is no longer, it's not moving any closer to the crest of dune with the new construction. It is just maintaining the existing 68 feet based on my understanding of the proposed addition. There is a little bit more of that addition that will be, within that 68 feet, but that line itself is not moving. So I just wanted that clarity on related to the crest of dune variance. In regards to the coastal erosion hazard area, there's a few purposes to that code. That is actually a New York State code that the village administers. The village is one of the certified communities that administers its own coastal erosion hazard area code. And the purpose of the coastal erosion hazard area is both to protect structures, man-made structures, from potential destruction in these vulnerable areas that are near the coast and are subject to erosion, and also to protect the environments and the natural barriers which help prevent further erosion and encroachment inland. With that said, I would say that the proposal that's currently proposed very minimal includes about 518 square foot expansion, but as was explained, most of that is enclosing existing porch. So there's not really additional land being disturbed or covered for that portion. Only about 121 square feet are new coverage. I think it could be helpful to see, since we are going to need to have the full form anyway, a little information on the construction plan, because while most of the work is going to be internal renovation, there will be a fair amount of construction required. And the disturbance related to that should be removed as much as possible from that dune area, that erosion zone, and towards the other portion of the house. That can always be a condition of the permit, but thought that was worthy of mention. Otherwise, I think that it was pretty well explained. It's a little complicated to understand because there are portions that are being renovated inside the existing building, portions that are being enclosed in the existing porch, and then an area of expansion as well of about 121 feet in total that'll be newly enclosed.
So Lisa, how do we ensure that they minimize the dune impact during construction? You mentioned that it could be in the building construction approval, but do we do anything about that?
My suggestion would be just adding conditions to that coastal erosion hazard decision, that which it would be the natural thing to use the driveway, I think, to store materials, but it is best to have a record of that this is the intent and desire of the board, that it be constructed in a manner that minimizes impacts that coastal erosion hazard area. Once they hire a contractor to do the construction, they're not necessarily going to be conscious of that sensitive environment in front of that structure. So putting it in the decision would just be a way to carry that forward, so that instruction then gets passed on to whoever is doing the work.
Okay, thanks.
Could I, that's fine, no problem with that, but I just wanted to add a couple of things. One is on the seaward side of the house, the expansion there is just enclosing an existing deck. So the construction is all essentially interior. I mean, the deck is there, it has railings, et cetera, just making that part of the, so by its nature, it's not disturbing the dune. The same thing on the other side, on the landward side. The only additional part is the extra 121 square feet. And my understanding, the architect is here, but we'll put this in the environmental, the EAF, that the only construction there is really a couple of pillars to hold up the new part. And so most of the work, Lisa, is interior construction, but I certainly agree to do the storage in the driveway, et cetera, and minimize it. No problem.
Okay.
You're going to replace the floors because these are terraces. I'm sure you're going to have different building materials on the floors after you enclose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, if you're interested, they're shown in the drawings of the inside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
They'll be.
But you're turning an outdoor space into
Yes,
indoor space.
of course. It's carpeting actually in this particular area.
All right.
Can I just, there's two notes on the survey I just want to make sure we address. One says removal of dilapidated deck platform and flagpole from dune, approximately 40 square foot of restored dune, and remove existing deck that was not part of the 2009 approved project, 380 square feet. Could you just explain what those two items are?
I can explain them saying that they were put there without any permits, and so they're being removed. And the area of restored dune is what the dune that'll be under where they now are. So it's not changing the dune. It's not adding sand or moving sand or grading it. It's just getting rid of that deck.
Is there anything that has to be done in restoration? I guess aside from removing those elements.
My understanding is no.
Okay.
It's just sitting at grade above the existing dune. And there's one other actual thing. There's a flagpole that was put in without a permit, so that's going to be removed. Okay.
So all the things that were put in without permits are being removed?
Yes, there are only those two.
Right.
And nobody remembers how they got there.
It was a long time ago. That flagpole's been there 30 years.
I think so. I think so.
All right. Alex and Lisa, anything else from your end? Lisa, you look like you have some thoughts.
Well, I was just gonna, and I think it was highlighted there that the property, the home itself is entirely within the coastal erosion hazard area. So, or almost, I guess there's
It's
two
about,
maybe
it's about,
different,
it,
there's
excuse me,
different
it's about
lines.
half. It used to be entirely, but then the line got changed, so it sort of goes through the middle of the house. It's on the survey. The
Yeah,
line's
so
into-
like there was the line from, the older line that was drawn, I think originally drawn in like 88, was in, like that entire area would have been
Yes.
enclosed. So I just wanted to highlight it because any work on this house would require that any expansion on this home at all would, and work on this house because construction, a new construction or expansion within the CHA does require a permit. So, and a variance from this, and in this case, we are looking at, it's not as if there's much of this house where there would be an area to operate outside of the CHA. So I did just want to point that out to the board because I didn't know if that was clear that it's not like this, the house is just barely touching the CHA and it's,
No, right,
it's very much inside that line.
absolutely.
All right. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments from anyone in the audience? No? Is there anyone else on Zoom that would like to make a comment? Yes? All right.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now we cannot. We could.
You're on mute, I think.
There we go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay, hi. My name is Nate Rubin. I'm the owner's rep working with the homeowner and the architect and the Eric who just was speaking. I just wanted to touch on the comment about staging of materials and things like that. They had done a alteration some time ago that they had put in a temporary driveway within their property, and that was for something in the front. We're looking to minimize as much as possible and also stage in that, I guess, what is the east side of the home, which is the street-facing side. So we have a staging area, which is essentially where they have a in-ground pool that we're looking to basically build a platform over to stage materials and then hand deliver from front to back to minimize, as much sort of heavy equipment or otherwise that would otherwise be needed in a typical good construction of this size. So I think if it makes sense from your perspective to add a note to the architectural drawings or any other sort of information, we're happy to provide and accommodate as seen fit, but we really want to mitigate as much impact to the land and to the property already because it's a manicured space or manicured landscape already.
So you're saying that you'll be using, obviously, the driveway to come and go with the equipment and trucks?
The
and you'll use
existing driveway does not allow for it because it would any trucks would essentially cause potentially more damage and harm. So we would basically cut into the lawn area to put a temporary driveway down.
Oh, that's what you're
Just to
doing.
get,
Oh,
yeah, which is what they did last time.
I'm with you. So Lisa, I'd like to.
And that would not go past the coastal erosion hazard line.
No,
'Cause it goes through the
Okay.
middle of the house, so it would
Okay.
be north of the line.
Oh, that, okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you, that's helpful. All right. Anyone else like to make any comments?
If there's no other comments, just as a reminder for the board, With respect to the coastal erosion hazard line, the board is acting as the coastal erosion hazard board of review, which has, the variance has slightly different criteria than the standard area variances that you'll weigh for the side yard setback. And those are in 4919 of the code, where there's 5 criteria, and I can go through them if you like.
Could you?
Sure. So the first, it notes that strict application of the standards of this chapter may cause practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship. When this can be shown, such standards and restrictions may be varied or modified, provided that the following criteria are met. A, no reasonable, prudent, or alternative site is available. B, all responsible means and measures to mitigate adverse impacts on natural systems and their functions and values have been incorporated into the activity's design at the property owner's expense. C, the development will be reasonably safe from flood and erosion damage. D, the variance requested is the minimum necessary to overcome the practical difficulty or hardship, which was the basis of the requested variance. And E involves public funds being utilized, so that's not really applicable here.
That's what I went through in my
I was gonna say,
presentation.
you
I
went
was-
through those issues.
Yes.
Got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
just to flag that they're slightly different than the 5 area variance
Yeah,
criteria.
yeah,
I should have made clear it was coming from those standards.
yeah.
Sorry.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, anything else? Anyone? All right, well, let's go ahead and chat about what you all think. Does anybody want to go first and step out on this? Otherwise I can. Any thoughts on the application?
I think it was very well presented, and it's very minimal. And I assume no neighbors have said anything.
That's correct.
It's just enclosing things that are already there. So the only substantive change that one could interpret as undesirable is it's increasing the bulk of the building. It's the cubic
You know,
footage.
If enclosing a deck is increasing the bulk, yes, but that's debatable.
Yeah, I think it's very reasonable. That's my one person's view.
I agree.
Before you continue this part of the discussion, I believe Lisa suggested that as a predicate to taking any action, you still need a full environmental assessment form.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've got that down, yes.
And we want to put something in about how they're going to make that wooden driveway to not damage
The
the
temporary
land.
driveway.
And they're going to stage off of the pool deck area,
Right.
which also wouldn't damage. I don't know how to put that in legal writing, but they offered to do that, and I think it's very positive for the neighborhood and the environment.
And also to know, the location of where this is, in the context of Meadow Lane, and also off the beach. Yeah, just in terms of location of where we're doing this, it's minimal.
I was going to suggest, as Mr. Kempner's question, we'll submit, along with the EAF, we'll submit a construction protocol to go through the whole process of what we're doing. on it. So it'll spell all of that out.
All right,
Thank you.
so you'll provide the EAF.
Yep.
That will have the construction protocol, which will also mention the pool covering, the temporary driveway, and so on. That will get us the EAF, the need to minimize the impact on the area, and then we'll be able to vote at that point.
Right. Just to be clear, when you say construction protocol, you're talking about construction staging plan as well?
I don't know how much detail do you want. The main thing is you want to show that it's staying away from the dune.
We need to see the temporary driveway
Right.
and how you're going to construct that,
Right.
and that will protect the area. And secondly, that you're going to be using the pool for the actual storage, again, so it protects the area. I
Right.
think those are the two areas that we've talked about.
Precisely.
The rest of it
Sorry.
is up to you.
I didn't turn off my phone, I'm sorry. Okay.
Pardon?
To remove these.
Well, that would be in the, yes, that would be in the decision, yeah. Yeah. He's making a comment that in any decision we eventually make, we should note that you are removing the flagpole and the deck that was inappropriately added, and so on and so forth, so, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so, Brian, are you saying that we should just simply adjourn this for now, come back with the EAF, and then we'll go into a decision, and the decision can incorporate the various factors we're talking about here?
Correct. And the construction materials that, not
That's what I'm saying.
materials, but the information that you'll be provided with respect to construction
Right,
details.
okay. All right, thank
Okay.
you. So we'll
Thank
be
you.
adjourning
And
this.
Any other comments we should respond to? Those are the things.
No, no. look forward to getting the EAF and the rest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you need a motion to continue it to October 2nd.
Right.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, thank you, that's helpful. Wonderful. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to the cases seeking area variances or special exceptions.
And I think that was all we needed Lisa for, so if it's.
Oh, excuse me, Lisa, thank you so much, very helpful,
Thanks, Lisa.
very helpful. All right, so now we'll move on to the cases involving area variances and special exceptions. The first one is a carryover case, case number 3206, Bishop Waves at 139 Bishop's Lane. And come forward and we can chat about that. Is anyone here?
The applicant reached out to me late in the day saying that they were still awaiting an updated survey, so they asked if they could adjourn to October 2nd as well.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn till October 2nd?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So they're getting an additional survey?
Yes, I think they were proposing to make some changes to their proposal, and they're waiting on the surveyor to produce some updated documents reflecting that. It's my
Great.
understanding.
All right, good, excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Do you, Alex, just from pattern and practice, you may not know in this particular case, do you know if the submission papers, I meant to go through it before this meeting and I didn't, does it include the original survey that was put on this property prior to any construction? Would that be in the file, or would they just submit what they ended up building, which of course requires a variance?
I'd have to check. It depends on the particular of this
It varies.
application.
Okay.
Yeah, typically, it depends also if the work is proposed or existing. So I'd have to see if that's on file for this application.
Okay, I'd like to check that one out when they come back. Okay, great, thank you. All right, and the second case in this category is Tallow Building. It says applicant requests an adjournment to October 2nd. Do I hear a motion to adjourn that case?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we move on to the new cases. There are three. The first is case number 3210, Searsucker LLC, 99 South Main Street. Want to come on forward and we can chat about that?
And I believe we have the affidavits of mailing and posting for that one as well.
Or
Or, if you- okay, you can provide those. Thank you.
we do. Hi, my name is Jackie Hubbard. I'm here from Toomey Latham, Shea, Kelly, Dubin, and Cordero, Riverhead, on behalf of the applicant Searsucker 3L LLC for 99 South Main Street. I apologize. I'm 9 months pregnant, so if I have to breathe weirdly, that's all that's happening. I'm just breathing in deeply, so I apologize if I have to pause or lose my breath. With me tonight is Perry Gio, the landscape architect for the project, and he's going to speak a little bit later regarding the application. I'm just going to go through the standards and then brief background on the property. And just a note before I go into that, and as an indicator in our application, the LLC that owns this property has shared ownership of the property directly to the east, so that the home that's in front of our property between South Main and this lot, they own that as well. So we're seeking a variance relief for the existing pool constructed 0.9 feet from the side yard. Setbacks for pools where 20 feet is required. The pool was constructed at an angle and centered on the primary dwelling and the patio. I can put a survey up there. It's not the biggest copy, but
You're just going to have that facing you, and then we'll be able to pick it up on, thank you. We'll pick it up on the overhead.
So because of the angle that it was constructed at, there's a very minor sliver of the pool that is located within the setback at the side lot line, so it's like a little triangle. We had spoken to the neighbor directly to the north there, Mr. Niven. There's an understanding that he was submitting a letter in support, but I don't know if the board had received that or not. It doesn't seem like maybe you had received any correspondence.
Excuse me?
I don't see that.
Okay. I had said that we had spoken to our neighbor to the north there, Mr. Niven, and I wasn't sure if you had all gotten any correspondence. So okay.
Yeah, there's no correspondence
Okay,
in the file.
thank you.
No.
Apologies. Anyway, so it is a very minor request that we're making. Just to speak to the standards briefly, there's no detriment to the neighboring properties, even without Mr. Niven's letter of support, which we would hope to have gotten in prior to this hearing. And he had indicated in correspondence with us that he had no issue with where the pool is located. There's no harm or detriment to his property. It is not substantial. The area in question that encroaches and sits within the side yard setbacks is minimal in the grand scheme of the property, and even the pool itself. Less than a foot of relief is minor compared to other approvals that this board has approved. Although we do acknowledge that coming to you after having constructed the pool is, our mea culpa. Removing and reinstalling the pool would be a considerable cost to the applicant. There are no measurable impacts on the physical or environmental conditions of the property. The pool is located far away from the wetlands on the property. There was a previous pool when our clients purchased this property. There's an existing dwelling and pool, which all got demolished, and we reconstructed as it is now. That pool previously was much closer to the wetlands. This moves the pool further away from that and closer to the house. Although we do acknowledge that the difficulty is self-created, in that the error was our error where we located this, and Perry will speak to this further, but the shifting that occurred to center the pool on the house is where this error came about. When we had submitted previously for the building permit, the pool was proposed outside of the setbacks. And we are, of course, aware that the two previous applications that were on the agenda for today are similar applications to our own, in that they were also for existing structures that are within setbacks and are requesting relief in the same way that we are, one of which is a pool and one of which is a garage. We would distinguish our application from those only in that the other pool that is on the agenda, which is adjourned to next hearing, is in many of the setbacks and on a much smaller lot. Ours is only this one small sliver that we're talking about, a little triangle. And the garage, although also a seemingly small deviation from those setbacks, is more substantial in that it's a large structure and will be overbearing on the neighbor. If you wouldn't know to look at it, you wouldn't know that it was in the setbacks anyway, and it wouldn't be any closer or cause any issues to the neighbor anyway. And the pool generally is located far away from all the other neighbors and is appropriately screened with hedging. I believe it's in the photos that we provided as well with the application. The entire property is screened on all sides, but in particular between our property and Mr. Niven's property, the screening is substantial. And because of the context that we are, applying while these other applications are also before you and pending, I just would implore you to take our application, as you should with any application, on its face in the context of the 5 factors I just discussed. And being clear that although we have created this difficulty for ourselves, it is clear that this benefit would outweigh, a benefit to our applicant would outweigh any detriment to the health, safety, or welfare of the neighborhood or the community. And if there would be any detriment at all, it'd be unlikely conceivably caused by our variance for this very small part of the pool. Mr. Gio is going to speak further to this, but I just thank you for your time, and I apologize again for my breathing. So if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer them. I'm just going to sit down. That's okay.
Can I ask why this wasn't brought to our attention before you put $50,000 of concrete in the ground? That'd be a much easier decision for us.
We,
This
like I said,
needs
Mr.
a
Gio's
variance. The variance wasn't requested till after the fact.
right, because they weren't aware that they were placing it in those setbacks.
Okay, and an architect couldn't figure that out before the fact?
Or surveyor.
Or so, thank you.
I acknowledge that it's a difficult situation that we have placed ourselves in.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. I'm looking at this survey.
Mm-hmm.
As you point out, it's small.
Mm-hmm.
One of the criteria is, can this be remedied in a way that would not require a variance? We're talking a foot. Why don't you just expand the terrace in that area? It's around the first step anyway. Just expand the terrace, and this is solved under one of the 5 criteria.
Of course, I understand, and we applied as we were once we came to realize that there was an issue. We did what we were supposed to do and applied to your attention and board.
Appreciate it.
So I don't want to say what we could do without speaking to the client again about those options.
Okay.
But I would like Perry to be able to speak
Sure,
as well.
absolutely.
And then, in that situation, we would, of course, request for an adjournment, a minor
Right.
adjournment, just to discuss with the client further. But like I said, we apply, understanding our error, and, that's why we're here before you,
Thank you.
just following the procedure, so.
I just want to state for the record, there have been an awful lot of errors lately. You referred to the 3, and these are first grade math. Anybody who's a professional builder and knows how to use a ruler, protractor, and other instruments should be able to measure setbacks from lot lines. This is not like advanced physics. So it's pretty upsetting to us when people make mistakes and then come and plead the mercy of the court.
I understand that, and that's
These
why
guys would not like it if their neighbor did that.
I can't speak to how they respond to a similar situation, but and that's why I raised I understand the awkward context we find ourselves in too with the other applications that you just heard earlier this summer, and obviously last hearing you had the Tala building.
Well,
So-
yeah,
Which we didn't take kindly to.
yeah,
Yes.
You saw the record.
I did.
I'm not going to get into other applications. I'm just confused as to why you didn't have a remedy that seems to be pretty available. I mean, I'm curious. I'd like to know, why isn't that a solution instead of coming here?
Of course, and like I said, we're just exercising our right to do so, and also to just following the procedure as it is.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to let
Thank
Perry
you.
speak. So I
All right.
apologize.
Thank you.
I'm just going to sit right here.
You're welcome to sit at the table if you'd
Okay.
like. We can pick you up on those mics as well.
There are all the images, the plan and the view that we can access.
I apologize. Alex, do you have a bigger one of we just submitted those 2 renderings. I know we were looking at them before, but I have like a smaller version. Yeah.
I think, I've seen this, let's try this. Thank you all. I'm Perry Guillot, the landscape architect. Designed the garden, the pool, and the terrace, the hardscaping for this project. As you've seen tonight, there's an image on the table that shows the actual positioning of the pool and the error, the overextended, the way the pool engages with that setback line. Everything you've said tonight, I understand. It was a mistake, was an oversight in the positioning and building the pool at the time. We discovered this with the as-built survey at the time, and coming before you tonight is just to present the case of this error. And we did speak with Mr. Niven next door to the north of this property, and he wrote the letter. It was meant to be in the record. It will be submitted that he has no fault to question that we shouldn't get a relief for this. That's his opinion. He can't see it, and when you look at the physical evidence of that, we're well aware that a rule is a rule, a law is a law, but it's just coming to see the nature of this, and I know everything sets a precedent, but that's the witness of what the corner looks like.
What happens if you expand the pool deck to cover the red? Then I believe you're in compliance.
That's a possibility.
The
If
pool
you
deck.
make the pool deck doesn't count in the setback, right? So if you make the pool, if you take that pie crust that's in red here in front of me,
Right,
and you make it land,
a wedge.
a wedge, thank you, that's pool deck, then it's not pool, and it's set back far enough from the lot line. So the pool would be a little bit not rectangular.
Right.
But it would have to be reconstructed from its current state, right?
Yeah,
That's
you would
what- yeah.
fill in that corner and
Fill
put
in.
a wedge of bluestone there. The situation where the neighbor who's the most affected by this, other than changing the way you set rules in the village, but if the neighbor, at least that's something to be considered.
Well,
Yeah, but that.
When who's
that
the
doesn't-
most-
The neighbor doesn't control the precedent. He doesn't sit on this board and have to
Understood.
live with the precedent
I'm
that the
well aware.
board set.
Sure.
And also, too, we are considering that in that on page 2 of the nature of relief requested and the standards for granting that you've provided and so on, which is, your council did, and it's beautifully written. She cites the village law and lays out A through E, the 5 factors we consider. And one of them is change to the character of the neighborhood and impact on the neighborhood. And that's where we do consider that letter. So duly noted, duly considered. But one of the other factors is what we're kind of landing on as well, that we have to consider as well, different factor. And that is the factor B, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance, which means you fill in the 12 inches, you're now you're in compliance, and you do not need to have a variance. So under page 2, subsection B of Village Law 717B, that would be a solution.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about. We haven't decided, but that's why
Yeah.
we keep coming back to it, because it lands on one of the 5 criteria, and it would provide a compliant solution for you all without,
Outside of this,
it's not a dramatic
Yeah.
change to the pool, and yet it would have a dramatic change in not needing a variance.
understood.
That's our weighing
I can see.
that we're doing.
I can speak into this mic, okay. Right, so we would request at this time that we could adjourn to the next hearing, just to.
All
make
right,
su-
and talk about it.
Yeah, just talk to the client, and make sure that that letter does get in too, just for your.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
it's not just our word as what he sent that to us.
Of course, no problem. Thank you for coming,
you.
and thank you.
Absolutely.
For your
Beautiful garden.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you.
Did we ask if there's any public comment? I
Oh,
don't know
sorry.
if anyone in-
Oh,
Yeah, we
problem.
need to do that. Does anyone in the audience here have any comment on this application? Or is anyone on Zoom that would like to comment on the application? No? All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn to October 2nd? Is October 2nd enough time for you?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to adjourn to October 2nd?
And
All
I
those in
heard Tom
favor?
second.
Aye.
But yeah, okay, great.
Great, thank you so much.
Oh, I sorry, second. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't ask for seconds. Thanks.
That's the solution.
Okay, so the next of the new cases is case number 3212, and that is 96 Edwards Lane. Thank you.
And do we have affidavits of mailing and posting for this one?
We do.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Carl Benacasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill, New York, for the applicant. The relief requested is a 170-square-foot addition to an existing one-story, 1,870-square-foot home. I do have surveys that I will lay out. As you can see, the addition consists of habitable space in the hatched mark, and then an extension of a basement egress, a stairway, 4 feet therefrom. In total, as I mentioned, it's a 170 square foot addition. At a side yard setback of 14.8, where 23.6 is required, as this lot is non-conforming and entitled to 4/10 relief. I will go through the 5 factors, and we can discuss any questions you may have. So at 119 square foot detached garage, which you can see is actually kind of lightly outlined on the survey, we have it a little better highlighted here. So right here, if you look on the survey, it's just to the east of the proposed addition. You can see it in the dotted lines there. That is an approved structure that currently exists on the lot and is only 11.1 feet from the side yard. The neighborhood is, if you're familiar with the neighborhood, it's largely made up of these single-story, one-story, single-family homes, many constructed in the late 50s and 60s, and many exist within setbacks in a pre-existing non-conforming state. In fact, the home directly to the east has an attached garage that's just 12 feet from the property line. So this addition won't change the character of the neighborhood. It's certainly harmonious with the existing home. It's designed to expand the home, a small portion of the livable space of the primary bedroom, and add a walk-in closet for storage. It cannot be achieved by any other method, as we are working within the constraints of the existing structure. And to add any space to that primary bedroom would require the addition of the proposed addition to the east side of the home, as opposed to any other side, because if you do the south, you're interfering with an existing patio, an existing exit. To the north, you're butting into the front yard, and certainly there's no opportunity to add to the western side of that room. So this is the only way they could achieve this relief. Is it substantial? The applicant seeking 8.8 feet of relief in total for, as I mentioned, a modest addition of 170 square feet. Of that relief, 3.6 feet is to accommodate that cellar egress. So although the cellar would be 14.8 feet, the egress from the side yard, the actual habitable space would be resulting in, at the minimum, an 18.4 foot setback from the side yard.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Carl, before we go on, try and understand, and I think that's what the board's looking at now too, the separation distance, the linear distance to the construction. It looks like the patio is 14.8 feet from the property line, but then the cellar steps, the cellar area, I don't know if that includes that patio or
Yeah,
not.
that includes the patio and the cellar steps, which is really just the landing of the cellar steps.
So that's why it's 14.8.
That's why it's 14.8. Otherwise, now there's a section of the code that allows for cellar steps such as this to be 4 feet into setbacks. But that's only to the extent that the structure that they're coming off of is itself in a conforming location, which is not, which is why we need relief for both here.
And this is a fire escape from the basement?
It's a required egress from the
Yeah.
basement, yeah. Onto the patio, as Brian called it, is just really a landing for the steps.
Gotcha. So that's a landing right here. That's where the 14.8 foot setback is.
That's exactly right. And that's the closest that it is to the side yard, because due to the sort of strange configuration of the lot and the home on the lot, you can see it's not exactly, it's sort of askew.
It's not plumb, yeah.
So as a result, you're going to have a greater nonconformity in the front than you would in the back.
But to be clear, this 14.8 foot area is just at grade.
That's at grade.
It's not
Yes, nothing
above
above grade. That's exactly right. The only portion of the relief being sought that's above grade is that hatched area, which is the habitable
Right.
extension.
Beginning at 18.4 feet.
That begins at 18.4.
And there'll be a rail from the fire stair that'll be above grade, won't there?
Yeah, I suppose any safety requirements would be in there. Will it have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood? No, the bulk of the addition, as we meant, sits within the footprint of an existing shed. So this structural addition is already experienced on the lot in the form of that shed. And I'd note, we're actually removing structural incursion into the side yard by a significant amount. Currently, it's at 11.1 feet. So the resulting above-grade structure will be 18.4 feet. Is it self-created? No, we're working within the confines of the existing lot, obviously, and the existing home, as this is a small addition to that. So when looking at these factors, obviously one of the significant ones is the character of the neighborhood. Will it cause a substantial change? Again, I would note that the property directly to the east, and I believe it's 89 Edwards, has a attached garage that's merely 12 feet from the side yard. So a greater incursion into the side yard than we're proposing. This lot has a shed.
It is 86.
It's 86?
Yes.
It made no sense to me because it goes 10 numbers in one.
I'm just telling you what
But
the
that's
map
what it
says.
is, yeah. The
And here's
existing.
garage.
The existing structure has that shed, which goes into the side yard only 11.1 feet from the side yard. And just around the corner, you're talking about 30 to 40 feet backyard to backyard. This board granted a variance just last year in October. I think I left it at the podium. This board granted a variance in October of 2024 at 60 Breeze Lane, which is, again, the backyards almost meet, just around the corner. Granted a variance for a 3-foot wide, single-story extension of the principal dwelling to be 10 feet from the property line, so closer than we're proposing now, and an at-grade cellar entrance, much like this, to be 6 feet from the property line. So both based on existing nonconformities of adjacent lots, the existing structures that will be removed on this lot, and relief by this board granted in October of '24. The proposed change is very much in line with the character of the community and will not in any way substantially impact that nature. I would also note we have earlier this month letters from the most affected neighbor, that's at 86 Edward, and then the neighbors across the street at 79 and 89 Edwards all offered letters of support, as did the owner of 99 Edward Lane, but they sold the home yesterday, so I don't know how much weight that holds anymore. So I'd put that on the record. So we have, I believe we've demonstrated that the relief is modest, that it's certainly in line with the character of the community, that it's understandable that they would want this space, that the detriment to the surrounding community is far outweighed by the benefit to the applicant, that this is in line with recent decisions of this board and the existing conditions of both this lot and adjacent lots. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do you have a 1-1 of the plans you provided? I just want to clarify a question. Yeah, if you could. I think it's the second page. So I think on 1-1, it shows that there's a 36-inch tall guardrail, and answer your question.
I'm sorry, say again.
It
Howard?
does show that.
Yeah, so there's a 36-inch tall guardrail shown on that plan.
Right here.
And then if you could just highlight how the stairs are being accessed, because I don't believe the bluestone patio is being shown as a landing to the stairs. I think it's on the opposite side of the stairs. On this drawing.
I
just wanted to
understand
make
what,
sure.
yeah, that was confusing what I said. There's trash cans going there. So I think it's better not characterized as a landing. You're absolutely right.
Gotcha. And it looks like there's I think a railing on the, concealing the trash cans shown on there as well.
That's right. So that there is a 3-foot tall railing along the stairs, as you suspected. Yeah.
All right. any other comments you'd like to share? That's been
No,
very
I think-
helpful.
I think that's it.
Really helpful.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, we may. Anyone here, would you like to make any comments on this application? Anyone on Zoom to make any comment on the application? No? Okay, so let's chat. I'll go ahead and kick it off, if you will. 5 factors. Character of the neighborhood, not changed. I would agree with that. Damage to the environment, not readily apparent. Self-created, they haven't done it yet, so that's, to me, not really relevant. But the one I keep getting stuck on tonight for some reason is there another way to do this where you would not need a variance? It seems to me they could go out toward the existing patio. That is exactly where the master bedroom is. It is exactly where the master bath is. You push out on the existing patio, you don't need a variance. And if they still want more space on their patio, they can push the patio out a few feet. So I don't know why we keep encroaching on the side yard when we have plenty of room in the backyard and the bedroom is absolutely sitting there on that patio for expansion.
Well, I think internal aesthetic is a reasonable consideration. And if you were to put this, what essentially most of the addition is a walk-in closet. It's for storage. So you would be eliminating an egress point in the home if you were to put it against the patio, and you would be eliminating windows to the backyard. I think you would also likely be disrupting the existing flow of the bedroom, which was sort of along that longer side along the home, as opposed to configured as to be adjacent to the patio. And finally, the cellar exit would have you'd be having difficulty accessing the cellar from the patio, which is part of the relief.
Well, you would put the cellar stairway starting further out into the backyard where the bedroom is now pushed out into the backyard and go down the same side of the house you were planning on it. I'd have to see the measurements, but I have a feeling that's going to be within not needing a variance.
Well, I can't say that would be
I
the
mean,
case.
you all have to talk about it, but my point is, closets aside, you can expand the bedroom in a direction that doesn't require a variance and choose another location for the closet. I mean, I could pick one right now on the map that I've drawn in. You could actually expand the primary bath beside it as a result, because if you expand the master bedroom, you could expand the primary bath. You could put a door out from the master bedroom into the terrace, as you've talked about.
I mean, there's a lot that you're suggesting that, this was thoroughly vetted by an architect, and I
Well, I'm
understand.
sure. I'm only talking about that one criteria. Is there a way to do this that doesn't require?
It is one criteria.
Oh,
Sorry?
I don't know if you took public comment already.
oh, excuse me. Yeah. All right. Any other comments?
Well, I'd like to address yours.
Sure.
Yeah, so, is it the architect that put his hand up? Maybe.
Yeah, Jeff?
No, that's the applicant. If he wants to speak, certainly let him speak.
So let's take your final comments here, and then we'll continue our deliberations after we hear
It's,
from him.
yeah, these are 5 factors that should be considered. Failing one does not mean you fail them all, although
Absolutely true.
I would not say that this necessarily fails that. I think the existing configuration of the home is certainly important when considering making these changes. And I think although there is a possibility that you could achieve something similar to what we're proposing by going on to and encroaching on the existing patio, thereby and expanding the patio, creating a more lot coverage, or you could do this, which makes far more sense from a design perspective, makes far more sense from preserving the existing flow of the home, the existing outdoor spaces of the home. And, again, the thought of putting a walk-in closet in the wall that faces your backyard and currently has an egress to the patio directly, you would be eliminating that egress and eliminating that that window to the backyard as opposed to a side yard, which is certainly provides far less of a vista or utility.
Out from here,
Your owner looks ready to speak.
here to there,
This
you put
is-
the closet
He's-
here,
They don't want to do that.
Carol, can the
and
owner
then
speak?
this becomes a
Excuse me.
huge bedroom.
Yes, I'm sorry. So,
This is
thank you
the
very much.
applicant. If I, whenever you're ready, I just want to address the question you have, which is a legitimate question.
Sure, absolutely, thank you.
Sure. So we actually pursued that as an alternative with our architect, Brian Brady, when we realized that we were in, we would require a variance on the side. And the only thing he came up with was a complete reconfiguration of the bedroom that required it to extend very far into the backyard, precisely because of one of the reasons is because of that walk-in closet. It's very hard to figure out where to put the walk-in closet by extending into the backyard without extending very dramatically into the backyard and really reconfiguring the entire bedroom. So it would be a much more costly renovation just to we currently have a tiny, tiny closet, as you can see on the existing plans if they're there. And we have a tiny, tiny bathroom, and this is our master. So if we were to go into the backyard, it's a major change and a much bigger renovation and much more costly.
All right, thank you for that, appreciate it.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
All right, comments from everybody on the board as we discuss amongst ourselves here?
I like your idea. I mean, I think it would expand the kitchen. You could move the bath out and could have a wonderful view of the pool and the patio, put the closet there, and then this becomes a very, very big bedroom with access to the porch. I think it could be accomplished.
So you consider that factor of, is
Yes.
there another way of doing this without a variance? Okay.
Yes.
Tom and Oren, what are your thoughts?
I agree that it could be achieved by other means.
Just a quick
Which
question
is the
about,
second
and
test.
about what's the shed that's there? There's what, a 10 by 10 shed, or what is that?
The size?
Shed that, it says the existing shed to be removed. What is that?
The actual size of that shed, they didn't call out the dimensions, but it looks to be
Trying to
roughly
guess.
10 by 10, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I would estimate it to be 10 by 10. But
Again,
just to-
sorry, go ahead.
if I may speak, thank you. Just to respond to comments from a couple of the board members about a feasible alternative, the cost associated with doing that, I would ask them to be a consideration, because that negatively impacts the owners. We're talking about a much more expensive extension. We're currently extending on the existing roof line of the house. We're currently extending on the existing footprint of the house in terms of just going out linearly from the existing parameters of the house. The other alternative, which Brian did explore, is much more expensive, and that negatively impacts us as owners. Thank you.
And I'd remind the board, the overarching standard for which you are guided by the five-part test is the benefit to the applicant outweighed by the detriment to the community. And I can't think that you could say in these circumstances that the benefit, that it weighs in favor of denial, given everything we've said, including the very recent decisions of this board to grant similar relief around the corner. In October of last year, almost unanimous except for one member was excused and abstained.
All right. Any other comments?
No.
No? Okay. Any other comments by the board? Are you all inclined, how are you inclined to go on this, and should we put it over for further discussion?
Excuse me, I'm on Zoom.
Oh, there's someone there. Excuse us, sorry. We will
Was that
find you.
Brian?
Yeah, it's Brian Brady, the architect.
Oh, hello, Brian Brady, the architect.
Yeah.
Sorry,
How
didn't
are
know you
you?
were there. Appreciate it.
I'd just like to reiterate that we really did explore going into the backyard. And in, the whole beauty of these ranches and this house is to get as much glass in the back to oversee the backyard and make it as gracious as possible. I just heard a comment saying that you could expand the kitchen. There's no way we're expanding the kitchen. So by adding the bedroom out into the backyard and capturing the light that we need to make that room pleasant, we had to extend it almost to the end of where the existing patio is, which then blocks all the morning light coming into the family room across. It's a real detrimental addition to it. And the one that's proposed right now is just a simple addition onto the existing structure with the existing roof line. It's very, very simple, and it achieves everything that we're trying to do from an architectural standpoint.
So, since you're being so gracious to be on the phone, it looks like from the submission papers that there is a peaked roof line facing the front yard. And it looks like from the plans that what is over in that area of the house is existing bedroom number 2. Do I have that right?
Correct.
Okay. You're talking about how it is cost effective to go in a linear fashion with an expansion. So you're just expanding the roof. You're not having to recreate roof lines. Could you simply add on toward the front of the house and grab that closet, if you will, from the expanded space between bedroom 2 and the primary bedroom? I don't know if you're able to comprehend what I'm saying.
You're not able to
Push
do that.
out
You're
bedroom
already-
number 2 into the front yard, take that
No,
extra.
we're already at the front yard setback.
Oh, never mind, that solves that. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I had mentioned that in my,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. All right. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Are we ready to, do you all have an indication as to where you might want to go on this, or should we put it over for further thinking and deliberation and so on till the next meeting? I personally need to think more about this because I'm troubled by it, but I don't want to be overly negative, so I really want to give it a due consideration. So,
I'm troubled by it too, Carol.
yeah.
on one factor. On one factor?
Achievable by other means. I
Achievable
think.
by other means is a factor, yeah, yeah.
So I move that we adjourn it, or whatever
Yeah,
one
yeah.
says.
Do I have a motion to adjourn this case to the
So
next
moved.
meeting on October 2nd?
Sure, I
All those
second.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. We need to think this thoroughly because we want to be fair and so on, and
We can submit, if you'd like, some information detailing the extent of work that would be required.
no, I believe you. No, you don't have to prove that case. No, we trust you completely on that. We're just trying to weigh in our own mind's eye the importance of the notion that why isn't something done, I know at admittedly heavy cost, that wouldn't require a variance in the village? That's the question, and we have to figure that one out. How much does that weigh?
Okay.
That's the issue.
So I can provide you some, hopefully, legal guidance on that point.
Sure, anything you'd like.
All right.
All right, and thank you all. I appreciate you being available by Zoom as well. Thank you. All right. So, and the third case of the new cases is case number 3214, 555 Captain's Neck. Hello there.
Good evening,
Carol,
board
I'm going to
members.
recuse myself.
All right.
They're good friends of mine.
You have been very patient for waiting. I appreciate your time.
Facing you. Yep.
So I'm just going to hand up some pictures if you haven't had the opportunity to go to the property. We did include in our package aerial photographs. I also have some color ones if you need to see those.
Were these previously submitted with the application, just supplemental?
Yes,
that?
yes, yes. Supplemental. Hopefully I gave you enough there. So good evening, board members. Wayne Bruin, O'Shea Marcinsigan Bruin, 250 North Sea Road, Southampton, New York, on behalf of the Mary J. Penniman Revocable Trust and the Garrett M. Moran Revocable Trust. The application is for a rear yard variance, and I'll get into the size and magnitude of that. The property is situated at 555 Captain's Neck Lane. Subject parcel is 85,841 square feet, a little over 1.9 acres. and we're about 1,600 feet south of Down East Lane. The premises was created back in 1972 by a subdivision and subsequently by lot line modifications. And at that time, it was known as the Carney Estate and had several buildings and dwellings on the property. And this lot ended up with a rather weird configuration, to say the least. And it's unique in this whole neighborhood. Most of the other parcels are much larger and more rectangular in shape. This parcel, that the existing dwelling was moved to the property from another section of the Carney Estate in 1972. It was located in at that time, in 1972, the zoning required a 75-foot rear yard setback. In 1973, the property was rezoned. The code changed the zoning such that it then required a 100-foot rear yard setback. And the property is now located in the R120, and it has a 100, which requires a 100-foot rear yard setback pursuant to 116.11.1A. That being said, the applicant and their predecessors did do several additions to this property. We provided copies of all the COs through time, but we also provided you copies of 3 prior zoning board decisions, one in 1975, one in 1977, and one in 1991, where this board pretty much gave rear yard setback variances and a side yard variance. We're here tonight because there is an existing covered porch to the rear of the property. Let's call it the northwesterly or westerly portion of the house. And if you look at the configuration of the lot, the rear lot line comes to essentially a point pretty close to the rear of this house. And then it veers off to the northwest and to the west. And the setback for the existing enclosed porch is currently 68.3 feet. And our clients desire to renovate, replace that enclosed porch and have a modest expansion of it, 4 feet, both on the north and westerly sides. Total of a 153 square foot addition to the porch. However, that addition causes a further 5-foot encroachment into the existing rear yard. So instead of 68.3, the setback would be 58.8 feet from that rear yard setback at that point. And it is a point. And you can see that on the survey. We highlighted it on that particular survey. It is shown on the survey. We've included the plans for the new porch, and a portion of that porch, about half of the square footage, is going to the north, which would be over the existing patio, which was part of the variance granted back in 1975, which was for a patio to be set back 55 feet from that rear property line. Our petition goes through the 5-part test. One of the most important things is the property to the west was the remainder of, the primary remainder of the Carney Estate. It's approximately a little over 9 acres. It surrounds this property on 3 sides, on the north, west, and even the south, where there's a 20-foot flag. And if you look at the aerial photograph, you'll see there is a driveway system that goes through that flag and encircles our property on all 3 sides. Immediately to our north was one of the pre-existing structures that was a garage apartment, which is used by the caretaker of that estate. That's at 509 Captain's Neck. The house that was there was demolished in and around, I think I put that 2018, with a new 12,000, 13,000 square foot house, a pool, tennis court, accessory structures, garages, and so on. A pretty large family complex there. And between our properties is substantial vegetation, hedges and vegetation. Immediately to the rear of our property is a large tree that also provides screening during the summertime. So virtually this porch, existing porch, unless you're on the back of this property, it's invisible from Captain's Neck as well as our adjoining owner. So as far as any detrimental impact to the character of the neighborhood or our immediate neighbor, it's basically imperceptible. The change, the actual porch will match pretty much the existing porch as far as the architecture and style, and that's all shown on the plans that we submitted. The setback, one of the unique things in this board in its prior capacities with the prior zoning, recognized the unique shape that this lot was created prior to the upzoning, the unique shape of the lot, and that the rear lot angles from a point, and then from that point, if you measured the rear lot line, it increases based on that angle to a point. So it isn't like there is an entire encroachment of that entire side of the proposed porch within the setback at that 58.3 setback. Our petition also indicates, among other things, how this is not substantial, depending on what you relate it to. And we look at it as relating to the existing setback as very de minimis, percentage-wise. It's not entirely large if you based it on the previous 75-foot, the prior zoning, which existed way back when. It is mathematically perhaps large if you took it in isolation on the existing setback, but you're required to look at the totality of the circumstances, the existing conditions, and the fact that there'll be no detrimental impact to the character of the neighborhood or our adjoining properties. As far as the topic at hand, can this be achieved in any other feasible manner that's feasible to the applicant? The point is, no matter what we do in the rear yard, no matter where we put it in that rear yard, it would require a variance. It's not feasible to the applicant. The objective here is to expand, do a modest extension of the existing covered patio or porch and maintain it in that particular area. So going anywhere else on the westerly or so would make no sense. And therefore, there really is no other feasible area to do this expansion. As far as impact on the environment, it is all an improved area. There is no environmental sensitivity. It is a type 2 action under seeker, and we would request your consideration of granting the variance. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'll start it off with my common refrain of this evening, and I really do apologize, but I'm just trying to understand. Why not put the enclosed porch off the family room, which is going toward the pool area, where it would not require a variance?
You mean?
If I'm looking at this particular plan, why not put it over here, rather than try to push it here, which is going toward that tough corner we're describing?
So the covered porch, the purpose of that is related to the dining room. You see where the dining room is.
Yep.
It's immediately off the dining room, and it's the existing covered porch. So what you're suggesting is we totally change the layout and
No, you're right, there is an existing porch there, and you're just trying to simply work with what you have and make it off the living dining area, not the family room or the side entrance.
Right, and you can
That's the
see
answer.
the dotted line of where the
Yeah.
existing and where we're proposing.
All right,
the models.
I had to try.
No, it's, I'm actually glad to hear the board get involved in the
Even
questions
so,
that you're required to
it's
ask
still
and make
gonna
sure
be-
that you're
Put it over here,
making
Well,
applicants
way
comply.
over here.
way over there, but yeah, but it doesn't make sense. This is side
No.
entrance.
So
Yeah.
He's saying
were
that
you
one.
to extend the line
Yeah,
from the
I-
proposed
I agree.
porch beyond the property line where it's 58.8 feet
Yeah.
to the nearest point of that
Yeah, so-
driveway, that buffer driveway, do you know what that
Wacky
linear
piece of
distance is
land.
Yeah.
in total? Is that over 100?
I don't know.
I mean, this is it now.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
just talking about that little
4
thing.
feet.
Oh, to the driveway?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Be fair to say that just if you were to, looking at your aerial and assuming that there is distance, it looks as if it's probably exceeds over 100 feet.
Yeah, it's easily 100 feet.
No, because
No, because it will
this
To
is
still,
the
their
no,
problem.
never mind, it'll still, yeah, it's still out of variance.
It's that corner that's the issue.
The corner's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay. Sorry, we're fighting our way through.
No, that's okay.
Which I've been doing all week with this odd-shaped property. Okay.
While you were doing that, I asked the applicant's representative,
Sorry.
if you were to take the line of where the porch is proposed to be expanded
Yes.
and bring it beyond where that existing 58.8 feet is,
Right.
and take it to the driveway that surrounds and essentially serves as a buffer, what that distance would be. And the estimation is that that
Enough?
appears to be over 100 feet itself.
You're talking about the neighboring driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
The way it curves.
Yep, that driveway is approximately, 60 to 70 feet off the property line of that location.
Yeah, so it would be well over 100 feet from the back of this house to that driveway.
So Brian, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the ramifications of what you just said, so can you walk me through it? Sorry.
So what I was, I'm not representing the applicant, just in considering and looking at the distance, the setback distance as pointed out by the applicant to
Yeah.
the property line because of the configuration, it's only 58.8 feet.
Right.
But then if you were to take that further out where the line may otherwise, or could
Oh,
otherwise
to
have
the other
been,
driveway there.
to
Oh,
the driveway that separates the two properties,
yeah,
you're over 100 at that point.
right, true. I thought you were referring to their own driveway. I thought,
No, not the driveway
Yeah.
to the south, no, to the.
If you
Yeah.
measure from
Yeah,
here
this driveway.
to
Yeah.
this line, it's well over, this is 90 feet in itself.
Right.
This distance here, so you add 90 to 58, you're like 148
Right.
feet
To
to
the
this,
driveway.
what would be a proper rear lot line. I don't know why they ended up with this configuration, but it certainly is impacted
Yeah.
on how anything can happen on this house.
Well, it's tough because given that this odd configuration, what you're suggesting certainly doesn't change the character of the neighborhood. It certainly doesn't create environmental problems. It's going to be self-created in that you're adding 4 feet onto a screened-in porch, but that is not substantial, and there simply is no other way of doing this. There's no direction you can go, given this boomerang layout of the property. Yeah, the lot shape, yeah, okay, I'm with you on this one, I get it. All right, any thought, so thank you very much. There's no one in the audience I can ask for comments. Is there anyone on Zoom that has any comments? No, all right. What do you all think? I'm inclined to go with it for the reasons I just stated. I don't know what else they can do with this property ever if we don't approve this, so.
I agree.
You agree?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
too.
inclined to go.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
agree as well? All right. So Brian and Alex, may we vote on it now?
You may.
And then we can prepare the opinion after the fact? All right. May I just say all those in favor of approving the 4-foot extension on 2 sides of the terrace as submitted in the request?
You need a motion and a
Do we have a
second,
motion?
and
Yeah.
then you can-
Yeah,
And
and
is
say
is that going to be pursuant to written findings? Or-
Unless you want to do it as a short form decision.
What do you think?
What does that mean, a short point
It-
decision?
It means you don't have to wait till the next
Right.
month to.
We approve it now,
Yeah,
I come in
let's
and
get 'em
sign it during
started.
the course of the week,
Sure.
and it goes away. All right,
Yeah,
so
great.
yes, we'll do a short
Let's
form.
do it.
All right, yeah. All those in favor of approving this, well, first we have to close the hearing. All those, all those in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
And I need a motion to approve.
Do I have a motion to approve the application as drafted? Can I just
Sure.
say it that way?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that was a cheating way of doing it, but we did it. And now you'll be preparing the opinion, and I can sign it, and it will be resolved, correct? All right, thank you
Great.
very much for your
Thank you.
time. Appreciate it. All right.
Wonderful.